I think everyone's different. A lot of people wouldn't want to take the sacrifice I've made, but I've made the choice because I understand that it's what's valuable for me. But again, you know, for some people, it's important for them to go out, have fun sometime, to go party sometime, to be with friends sometime. It's important for them to have that social life, and that's okay. That's not wrong. It's just that I don't value that as much as this.
Yes, we have the setup, everything. What's up, CK? How you doing? Back again. For the third installment of this series.
Yes.
Basically today, I just wanted to talk to you about how people can change their lives, because this is like a huge topic for people. It's like the notion of environmental conditioning. So people always, I find, making excuses in life, like I'm not here because of this reason, I'm not here because of that reason. And it might be to do with a lot of things. Confidence, lack of resources, you're born in the wrong neighborhood, that kind of stuff. And I wanted to talk to you about how, like, ways that we can mitigate that problem. And with environmental conditioning, I feel like we do have the choice, you know.
100%.
We have the choice to choose our friends, our peers. Even if you're not a social person, you can put yourself in a creative environment to help you grow and flourish. You know, that kind of stuff. So I wanted to pick your brains a little bit in terms of, because the world is moving at such a fast pace, we have to move with it. We have to be constantly adapting. What's the biggest advice that you could give someone, from your perspective at least, to help change their environment, to put themselves in give themselves a better chance to excel?
Well, first is stop worrying about controlling something you cannot control.
Yeah, true.
Because if you keep on worrying something that you cannot control, that thing will ultimately control you. You cannot control where you're born. You cannot control who's your mother, who's your father. You cannot control your background, ethnicity, your family background. Like these are the stuff you cannot control. You cannot control how the story begins, but you can control how the story ends. People find peace and calm by having a reason for something.
It's like,
right?
Almost delegating the responsibility.
Correct. And of course, doing so doesn't mean they still hate where they are. Yeah, but at least they're at peace with themselves in a way that, you know, I'm not where I want to be because of uncontrollable factors.
Yeah, that time is evolving more now than ever. Like with social media, surely like now it is an unprecedented time in terms of like the abundance, the opportunity that is exposed to us that allows us to progress, like social media, that kind of stuff. Like imagine, you know, not having social media, trying to jump class 50, 100, a millennia ago.
Yeah, I think with social media it becomes even more dangerous because people actually worry so much about looking successful and not actually being successful, right? Because again, it's an instant gratification immediately, right? It's more important for people to look successful, to get approval from other people than to actually be successful. Because holding a Chanel bag, wearing a Rolex, putting it online is so much more impactful, right? It gives you the instant gratification, and it gives you know, the people the perception that you have made it, and it gives you the immediate adrenaline in a way, and people crave that. The dopamine might last like maybe half an hour, and maybe a day at most, and then the next day they'll feel like shit again.
It kind of tells me that people value other people's perception and opinions more than they value their own, you know?
Yeah, 100%. If you look at social media, all these e-news, all these platforms, they always focus on celebrity, right? What they're doing, who they're dating, what they're driving. So they get all these attention, and people always look up to celebrity because they're all pretty, they're all happy looking in a way. So they think that's the end goal. But in reality, most of the people in Hollywood, they're suffering from depression. People don't look at that. The media would never cover that. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're the 10% that doesn't give a fuck about those kind of news, you're in good hand.
I think people have perhaps a fear issue or fear complex of not being, I don't know how I would explain it, but I guess in the mix, in the scene, caught up.
Yes.
Keeping up with the Kardashians, why do you want to keep up with them?
Correct. I do have an unfair advantage in many levels, right? My unfair advantage is that I have an obsession that nobody has. I'm willing to starve myself. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. Really, all I have is just this.
It's consciousness, though.
Just obsession. If you're fucking obsessed, if you spend fucking 90% of your time following Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, you're not gonna get anywhere.
Who are the people in your spotlight in your life? Your role models? That's a huge...
A lot. So there's a lot. From the sport perspective, my idol was Kobe Bryant. From the building product, believing that they can change the world, being crazy perspective, that's Steve Jobs. And from the commitment standpoint, the sacrifice that the person is willing to make would be Elon Musk. I think these three, and the customer obsession would be Jeff Bezos. I mean, there's so much that I can learn from each individual.
It's funny how for some people, they want so desperately to separate themselves from the crowd. And for some people that so desperately just want to fit in.
I think everyone's different. A lot of people wouldn't want to take the sacrifice I've made, but I've made the choice because I understand that it's what's valuable for me. But again, you know, for some people, it's important for them to go out, have fun sometime, to go party sometime, to be with friends sometime. It's important for them to have that social life, and that's okay. And that's not wrong. It's just that I don't value that as much as this.
Most people don't know is that the sacrifice is initial. Like, you know, you miss a few months at the club or being with the mix, but then, like, do you feel like you don't miss it anymore? Once you begin to escalate, once you transition.
You have to be obsessed in a way. Like, I really firmly do believe that, you know, our values are different. And by no means I'm imposing my own values to other people, but for me, I never miss it. I mean, I've been there, done that, and for me, I've transitioned to, I'm completely sober for 5 years, and I wouldn't go back. It's about the discipline. It's about the discipline, it's about the answer you have for yourself.
Some people talk themselves in the mirror, some people write it down in a journal. I think there's lots of different ways people communicate to themselves. I think once you're able to identify how you can connect with your deeper self and find out the answers, I think a lot of people struggle asking themselves the questions, you know.
It's hard to, I tried talking to yourself, that doesn't really work for me. Okay. What actually worked for me today is just trying out different things. It's hard to talk to yourself when you haven't done it, so you don't even have an answer yet. So it's important to just go out there and try it. Make all the mistakes and be both, you know, be the person that's want to party all the time and try not to party all the time and see which one you actually enjoy more. Who I am today was a result of multiple experiences I've had.
Would you feel like you've acquired lots of different personalities, lots of different identities throughout your life?
Yeah, 100%. I think if you ask any of my close friends, they would tell you that 5 years ago I was a completely different person. I mean, I've tried that. I mean, without trying, I wouldn't know that I fucking hate it. It's just like, it's fun at the moment, but then you wake up, you feel like a piece of shit. The reason why I stopped partying was actually the network. It's just like, I feel like I'm not surrounded by the most quality people.
So I think like your network is your net worth, and
exactly.
You say the 5 people that you spend the most time with in your life are the people that you can tell their future, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like for me, it's really black and white, and that's what makes me a little different from everyone else. It's just I'm very clear cut in terms of what I do. Just nothing else matters. Like literally nothing else matters. I'm still on the extreme of, you know, like never spend time with family, never spend time with friends. You would never see me hang out with friends, never. Barely. It's sad, but it's true. And I don't think the people that love me hate me. I think they understand. If they truly love me, they understand that I'm chasing something that's valuable for me.
And that's the thing, like, in terms of taking the right path, there is no one right path for all. I think people just need to identify their own path and see what works for them.
Correct. It's like what's important for them. They have to have that answer. They have to have that question answered.